Hola a todos. Este señor que veis aquí es Gordon Murray. Gordon Murray directamente es el mejor ingeniero de automoción del mundo. Y es famoso por dos cosas. Una por sus camisas y otra por sus diseños. Y acaba de presentar al mejor coche del mundo, sin duda. Vamos a verlo. Bienvenidos a Charlamotor.
Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine.
Gordon Murray nació en Sudáfrica en 1946 y este hombre ha sido un genio, pero un genio en muchas facetas, porque no solamente ha destacado en Fórmula 1 haciendo coches absolutamente revolucionarios, hasta el punto que se los prohibieron porque hizo un Brabham, por ejemplo, con efecto aspiradora, que directamente se lo prohibieron. Así, sin más. ¿Por qué? Porque ganaba a todo el mundo. Además, Gordon Murray era el diseñador del coche que hasta hoy estaba considerado el mejor deportivo del mundo, que era el McLaren F1. Pero me parece a mí que su nueva creación, el GMA T.50, va a ser el nuevo rey. La genialidad de este hombre se ve en un montón de vehículos. Fijaos, por ejemplo, este prototipo que hizo para Shell de coche urbano y económico. Mucha gente cuando lo vio se rió y dijo, pero esta porquería no. Es una auténtica genialidad. Pero ya sabéis que si el coche no es con unas líneas espectaculares, la gente no dice ¡oh! Pero este es uno de los coches mejor pensados para la ciudad. Por supuesto, obra de Gordon Murray. Pero volvamos al T50. Es directamente una obra maestra. Es un coche que pesa menos de 1000 kilos, llevando un motor V12. Motor central, evidentemente. Puesto de conducción central. Cambio manual. La esencia. El coche es para morirse. Así que os voy a dejar con el vídeo promocional porque es que no me atrevo ni a comentarlo porque es que habla solo. De verdad, disfrutad cada segundo del vídeo que merece la pena. Porque es, lo dicho, el mejor coche del mundo. Gracias y hasta la próxima.
Well, that was a blast. This is the T1, Gordon Murray's first racing car design that he raced in South Africa in the 1960s. Yeah, it's basic, but it has all those Gordon traits. It's lightweight, it's agile, and it is so much fun to drive. This car was the start of a 50-year design journey, a journey that culminates here, today, at the ultra-high security Gordon Murray Automotive Complex. Like you, I'm here to join Gordon as he launches his first supercar, the T50. And the time is rapidly approaching when we'll find out if they actually let me into the skunk works. But first, here's a little reminder of some of Gordon's remarkable design achievements.
Every now and again, there is a designer who absolutely has a real single-minded vision.
Are saying that the car should be 6 centimeters high in any circumstance.
No, they don't. They're bad losers, basically.
And Gordon looked at it laterally. He thought, well, if you've got a triangular-shaped engine, why not have a triangular-shaped tub?
So much of Formula One is about the designer, that clever interpretation of a rule.
The fan car was born out of necessity. Bernie made the drivers qualify on full tanks because he didn't want to be too fast.
Had a fan on the back of it. I remember Colin Chapman immediately saying it was illegal.
I did the sums, and I had to do them several times because I couldn't believe the downforce. We just turned up at the first race with a car with only half fuel tank size. We were putting new tyres on halfway through the race, fueling halfway through the race. Just ran away with the races, basically.
Probably the most innovative, and by that time celebrity designer within the racing car world.
He was the number one, and they were lucky to be driving a car that he designed.
We decided we'd take this technology and translate it to a road car.
And that's something that I'd harbored inside me for a long time. I try and do the ultimate sports car.
What you were buying into was the religion of Gordon Murray, of his thinking, of the quality of his thinking, of the originality of his thinking.
Remember the first time he ever took me for a ride in it? He said, "Now, are you holding tight?" I said, yeah, come on, get on. All I could say was, me. The thing was unbelievable.
Le Mans, we were the first team to win it at first try.
What I love is his simplicity and elegance, and that is absolutely the way that Gordon thinks.
Oh, fabulous. And a lot of that history is contained in this building. So let's see if they let us in yet. Hello. Hello. I've been briefed on this. It's a recreation of Gordon's 1960s design office. You've got a slide rule, set square, there's even a period correct mug. The T3, another of Gordon's early racing car designs. The Duckham's Ford, it raced at Le Mans in 1972 with Alan de Cadenet behind the wheel. 680 kilograms. Gordon is, and always has been, obsessed with weight reduction. This is another of his 1972 designs, the T4. It weighs a scarcely believable 280 kilograms. I've got motorbikes that weigh more than this car. A lot of you will recognize this, the T21, better known as the Rocket. Lightweight, again, Spartan, and the most pure driving experience you can have on the road. The Brabham years have been covered as well. The 1975 BT44B, it won the German and Brazilian Grand Prix, is simply stunning. And a lot of you will recognize this.
This is GMA control at T-120.
Welcome to the heart of the Gordon Murray Automotive Complex. Although today, it looks more like the rehearsal space for a rock concert.
Bosworth, go. Extract, go. Mermaid, go. Recon, we are go for launch.
Okay, I hear we are ready to launch.
Okay, controllers.
Welcome everyone to an important moment in automotive history, the launch of the long-awaited T50.
There's no question that the T50 is my ultimate car design. There's a fundamental difference between power to weight and weight to power ratio.
Well, the wait is finally over. And what a wait it's been, Gordon. This has got to be the most eagerly anticipated supercar launch since the McLaren F1.
Yeah, this one I'm 100% happy with. The styling I've always enjoyed just as much as the engineering design. And for me, proportions and actual balance in the shape is what it's all about. You know, I've always loved cars that are clean and pure. And the tools we've got available now to design these things with, this one we've nailed.
But the first thing I thought when I saw it was pure. No wings, no little widget, nothing. It's just, it's beauty. It's a pure, beautiful car.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think we've got this one absolutely spot on. And it's not just the style, it's the size of the thing. If you think about this has got 3 grown-ups in it, a V12, really good luggage space, and it's the footprint of a Porsche Boxster. And that's important to me as well.
So when you're driving it, you can move round and you can play in your own lane. You're not taking up the whole road.
Yeah, I don't do big cars. I don't do heavy cars and I don't do big cars.
Speaking about weight, 980 kilos all up. What lengths you're famous for your weight saving. What lengths did you go to get this car down to 980 kilos?
Well, the only way you can, I mean, we did a little bit of a survey, and the average supercar is over 1,400 kilos these days. And, you know, this was always going to be under 1,000 kilos, come hell or high water. The only way you get there is absolute focus, and not just on the overall design and engineering, but actually every single detail. That's the first element. The second element is you need to be in a company that doesn't have committees and layers of management, because you're never going to get a light, focused car. So those two combined together really give you something like this.
I mean, most things as they get older, cars, as you say, we've seen them getting bigger and like, you know, get a bit of a middle-age spread as you go along, but you've almost just you've just shaved it even closer now, haven't you? It's just, it's more focused than before.
Well, don't forget though, I had 20 years in Formula One, and for me, car design is packaging. And boy, 20 years in Formula One, that's a good learning ground. So just shrink wrapping a beautiful shape around the basic elements in the car is something I really love doing.
It took my breath away when I saw it.
Yeah. Good. Let's have a look. Just watch yourself on the turntable. Let's get the guys to move this around, and let's have a look at the business end at the back.
I love the badge on the front.
Yeah, that's 1,200 years old, that mermaid. Goes back to the old Murray family.
And is it the colours of the Murray tartan?
Yep. Those are the 3 colours in the tartan.
Lovely. I definitely appreciate that.
So this is the business end.
It's dominated by one component, isn't it? And is this harking back to the old fan car, the old Formula One Brabham fan car?
I suppose you could say in looks it is, but really the functionality is completely different. This is much more sophisticated. The fan car was a blunt instrument. It really was. It was a vacuum cleaner. You know, it had skirts around the outside and a great big fan just sucking it to the ground, and that was it. So. This is much more sophisticated. So this is much more about boundary layer control, where we've got massive diffusers. As you can see.
Yeah, I can see a drive shaft.
Yes, I mean, they really are huge. And normally the air wouldn't follow anything so violent in its shape, if you like. But we remove the dirty air, the boundary layer, and we force the air to follow that diffuser shape. But actually, it's even more than that. There's 6 different functions. And when we don't need downforce, we can dump downforce and drag too. For me, the most funky one is what we call streamline. So when the driver selects that, the foils drop, reducing the flow behind the car. The fan fires up to maximum speed. We create a virtual long-tail car with the air, and we stall the diffusers and dump downforce. So that reduces drag by about 12.5%. So settles the car down, basically.
Wish I had that in my racing car. That would have come in quite handy.
We actually have one Aero Mode where we fire the fan up, open the diffuser ducts, and flip up the spoilers, and we double the downforce on the car under braking. So that's a safety feature as well. But can you imagine suddenly getting double the downforce on the car under braking?
That could definitely come in handy.
Yeah.
It's quite incredible. So, shall we have a look at the interior?
Indeed.
I am fascinated by this. Wow. Now that is an interior. The first thing that strikes me, Gordon, the central driving position. And I know from years of driving single-seaters, that's where you need to be.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely a starting point for me when I thought about the car. You know, it had to be driver in the middle, no pedal offsets, fantastic visibility, really low scuttle height, and a complete focus on the driver and the owner of the car.
But yet there's no, when you sit in the middle, you're not sort of, the car doesn't feel different left and right-hand corners. It's more
yeah, I mean, it's
like
perfect. I mean, you've driven a lot of them, of course, and that's the one thing that struck me too is that the car is so easy to place, you know, hitting the apex or just normal driving on the road, and particularly with a car with a small footprint, combined with the low scuttle and the central driving position.
I think the passengers are like that too. With that low scuttle, they're sitting here and they can see right through, see the corner, see exactly what the driver's doing, exactly where the road's going as well.
Yeah, we paid a lot of attention just not only to the ergonomics, but actually to the whole experience. And that's what this interior is. I mean, down to the nth detail, you know, a total focus on the driver and the driving experience.
I'm looking at the pedals. First of all, the first thing I looked at, I went through there, I see that the switches are beautiful. The pedals are just a work of art.
Every single thing on this car, whether the owner will ever see it or not, is an engineering work of art. Everything.
The gear shift, for instance, I looked down there, I saw the workings of the gear shift. Beautiful.
Yeah, well, if you've got engineering art, you might as well appreciate it and have it on display.
So, 6-speed, manual, H-pattern gearbox.
Yes, that's that again is, you know, it's 100 cars. So it's back to the driving experience, having a fantastic engine and then having a paddle shift DCT automatic transmission just doesn't gel with me. So it had to be the whole package or nothing, really.
You've got a mixture between the old and the new on the dashboard. You've got these beautiful screens and then this traditional, lovely, old analog rev counter.
Yeah, I just couldn't help myself, you know. I wanted it to look like a watch face, you know, so there's no plastic in this car at all. Everything is aluminium, machined from solid, including the rev counter, even the needles machined from solid. And it's floodlit, it's not backlit like every other car on the planet, you know, so it's that sort of thing. It's the obvious thing is to say the great driving experience comes from NA engine, manual gearbox, central driving position. Yes, it does. But it's actually much more than that. It's all the subtleties and the feeling you get when you're sitting with all the controls clustered around you.
Things you touch.
And exactly, the things you touch and feel, and the quality of the switches, no spindle movement, all that sort of stuff. And we've gone to the nth degree with this car to make sure this is the best in the world. You'll notice that the RAM induction for the engine is absolutely opposite the driver's ears. And what happens is you get inlet noise coming back up the track and resonating through the roof, and that gives you that gorgeous growl on throttle opening. So this is going to be another planet with the V12.
Shall we go and see the V12? Gordon, this is a work of art. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, well, this was, right from day one, this was going to have to be a V12, and it was going to have to be normally aspirated.
But it's a V12, but it's tiny. It's beautifully sculpted. There's no fat on it at all.
Yeah, I mean, Cosworth have done an amazing job. When we sat down to spec the engine, it wasn't just about the performance, and of course it breaks all sorts of records with performance, but it was also about the packaging, the size, and even the look of the engine. You know, the detail, again, had to be something really beautiful.
And this is a key point. I mean, any engine is a key point of the driving experience. And I presume most of your sort of focus on this has really been to give you that pure driving experience.
Yeah, the sort of targets I had for Cosworth were obviously power and revs. This is the world's highest revving road car engine ever at 12,100.
That's mighty.
Yeah, it's the most power dense at 166 horsepower per litre. And most importantly, it's got the quickest engine response. That is how many revs per second. So this does 28,400 revs per second. So when you stamp your foot on the throttle, it's going to want to snap your neck off, basically.
Fantastic. And it's all mated to this beautiful X-Track gearbox.
Yeah, they've done a great job too. Both, I have to say, both X-Track and Cosworth have been brilliant to work with, you know, sitting down and talking about the conceptual design rather than the actual design and what we wanted from a weight and a compactness point of view. And once again, that is the lightest supercar gearbox ever done.
Because let's be honest, your reputation precedes you and you push people to do things that haven't been done before. So for you to say that about them, that's a big pat on the back for them.
Yeah, this engine breaks new ground in so many different ways. And it's, for me, this is the greatest V12 ever made. And it's probably likely to be the last great V12.
But it's going to be a shame to bury it away in the car.
Well, you see, what we've done, we've got the whole back end of the car opens in 2 gull-wing doors. So all this engineering is on display.
The engine cover?
Yep.
Oh, fabulous. That is cool. So if you put this tremendous thing into that wonderful car, you're going to get the ultimate driving experience, aren't you, Gordon?
Well, that's what we're aiming for, driving perfection.
And I do not doubt you're going to achieve it. Like all of you, I cannot wait to drive this car. Gordon, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Goodbye.
Suscríbete a Charlamotor. En este canal vas a encontrar opiniones independientes y sinceras, y todo enfocado al día a día.